has taken over.
Let's go.
It's Ferrall.
Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money.
It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
You're going to want to get the SportsGrid app on iOS or Android. It's free. You're going to love it. It's got the TV side on it. You can watch. It's got the radio side on it. You can listen. Yeah, that's right. It's got both. Plus, you can follow your favorite hosts like Carver High. And it's got in-game odds, videos, stories, highlights. It's got it all. The SportsGrid app. Get it today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Did you know we're streaming on X every day? In fact, always, including right now. Just go to SportsGrid-Live. You can get the Coast to Coast and Ferrall on a Bench podcast every day, Monday through Friday, on iTunes or wherever you download podcasts, both shows. Let's look at the lineup for tonight on SportsGrid TV. At 6, it's Front Office Sports. 6:30, it's GTD with the Kevin Walsh. And then at 8, it's the original OG in-game live with Scott Wetzel and Dave Sharapan. At 10, it's Sports Rage with Morency. On SportsGrid Radio, it's the institution. Carver without Lisi. Tonight, Mike Carver styling on SportsGrid Radio. And the gauntlet has been thrown already to see if Coach has the stones in the midst of his bottle of bourbon to watch the Knicks Pacers and still call in to talk to Carver High. Does he have it in him to watch and entertain the masses while under that kind of duress? All tonight on SportsGrid TV and SportsGrid Radio. Check it out. I think you'll love it. All right, hour 2. Let's do it.
I am not anticipating Coach tonight. No. We'll see. Sounds more like tomorrow night. But obviously we'll be there if he does want to stop by. All right, let's close the door on Minnesota and get them out of here with this. You heard Ant say, what we do, I got to work harder this summer, whatever. Chris Finch sounds like he also thinks he needs to work a little harder this summer. Here he is.
What did Ant learn? I think obviously
you're getting fired.
He's got to learn to play against that physicality and that type of kind of holding all the time. I think they made it really hard for him. I thought for a lot of the series he did make the right play, and we preach that to him all the time. Yeah, we need him to be aggressive for sure. He's got to find some easier buckets. I got to help him do that. I think we were never able to establish something consistent with him, and that's on us as much as anybody. So,
honestly, how ridiculous is this guy talking about the refs still? You got whacked. They just danced with your date. Blame the refs. Oh, my
soft.
God. I got nothing else. He's got to learn how to play through all that holding.
Whatever. It is very weak, and that was subtly dropped in there by Finch to say that, because he was very subtle the entire series. Didn't we play the clip yesterday? I've never seen a series with so few or no off the ball fouls as there's been in this series. He did a lot of under the underlying belly aching here. But you mentioned about him getting fired. I don't know. He did get him to the West Finals 2 years in a row. I know what you're saying. Is that as far as you can take them? They fire coaches all the time that make the playoffs and go on runs. If you're telling me that you're putting in some no doubt about it, one before Hall of Fame type of head coach, okay. But other than that, I wouldn't fire him for some recycled bottled water
what about
coach.
What about the guy in Florida? Would you hire him?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't hire him. He's won in college.
He wins titles. So just so you know, he'll be in the NBA soon enough, because that's what that.
I'm sure
that clause is about. He's going pro soon, just like Billy did.
Look, I know. And what's Billy done? You know, what's Billy done?
Billy was a way better college coach. I'll give you that. There's no denying that. But it depends on what kind of, remember Parcells, what kind of groceries do we have in the fridge?
Right. I mean, look, you could take anybody and you put them with guys that are, top line players, and they're going to win.
I think two guys, what was his name? Danny Ainge, I think, was the best I've ever seen at stockpiling groceries. And then I'm going to say Sam Presti's the second best I've ever seen at doing it. And then I think the best GM in the NFL is Howie Roseman, without a doubt, unequivocally. Who's the best at getting guys, and it used to be Belichick, at getting guys to do their jobs, specific jobs. We need you to do this. We need you to do this. We need this guy to do this. And then if you all do that, look what happens. I think that in the NBA, this guy Presti has loaded the cupboard. They are so deep, and they have so many picks, and they have so much, like a backlog of depth that they can do deals. And this team, trust me, they're going to win the title, and then they're going to win another one. That's how good they are. This team right here, like you talk about the Celtics, that they would come back and repeat, they got their ass beat. This team that we're watching right now, the Thunder, they're going to win it all. And then they have to be favored to win it all again next year. No questions asked. No one's going to stop them. The only thing that can stop that team right now with their age is injury.
Right. They have, like you said, this isn't ending anytime soon. I was looking at this morning. They have 2 first-rounders this year. They have 2 first-rounders next year. They have 2 first-rounders in 27. And that other first-rounder, it's not like teams that you expect are going to pick the 25 and 30. Like, they have Philly's pick in a couple years, and it's only top 4 protected. That could easily be between 5 and 10. Like, they've got a chance to get
Dynasty.
more in the cupboard. Or like you said, you could now take all of those picks if you wanted to, and put someone else even on top of the cake. Just put something else on top of all these young, talented players that they already have. And they don't even need anybody else.
Honestly, you could coach this team. And literally, right now, today, you could walk in. They are so good because they don't listen to nobody. I think Daniel's a good coach. And without a doubt, I think he's done a great job. But I honestly think my dog could coach this team. They're so talented. I think that their depth is championship depth, dynasty depth. Like, you remember Danny Ainge, how many draft picks this guy had? Oh, my God. He had like 100. And that's how you do it. This is the blueprint for success. If I were a young, aspiring assistant GM, this is what I would be doing. If I were that guy that took the job of the Islanders, I would be doing the same thing. I need 15, 20 draft picks. First rounders. That's how you build champions. It's real simple. It's still the same way the Steelers did it in the 70s. If you get all the draft picks, if you get all the, if you get the draft right, like this team in Oak City has the draft nailed down. They drafted this team. They made a couple trades. They drafted this team, and look at where they are now, and wait till you see where they're going.
No doubt. They've got a lot more to do. We'll come back. Game number 5. Pacers and the Knicks tonight at the Garden. See if the Knicks can stay alive. A lot of stress. A lot of stress.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Chiefs Chargers in Brazil on Friday on YouTube. They're going to give everyone that game for free. They're so generous because the rest of the season they're going to fleece you for all your money.
That's one, Scott. That division to me, based on what's happened to the Chiefs the last couple seasons, that division, the AFC West, could be up for grabs here. I know Chiefs fans think I'm probably out of my mind.
Ferrall, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
I actually like the fact that they went 7 games against a quality opponent here and still had to face adversity even in a game number 7. How are we setting up this next series with a rested Minnesota Timberwolves team taking on OKC fresh from the fight here?
They had an extremely, maybe it's just too strong a statement to say, easier pathway than people thought, particularly because of their size.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5 points live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, Carver High. Tonight at the Garden, it's all on the line for the Knicks. And I got to tell you, they need that Saturday night game, I think, the NBA. Can you imagine if the NBA Finals start a week from tonight? So, like, literally, if they lose tonight, you're waiting a week for a basketball game. You know what that's called in Portuguese? No one even remembers in a week that they're still playing basketball. I mean, honestly, I think it'll hurt the NBA Finals like nobody's business. 7 days off until they play a game. Like, who cares anymore? Honestly, I'm going to the pool.
Think about this, and I'll set this up for you too. You're right. If they win tonight, it's going to be next, no matter what, it's next Thursday night. Right. If the Pacers finish this thing off, they are going an entire week. And the same thing with the hockey. If Edmonton were to win tonight against Dallas, they don't start until Wednesday next week. Wednesday would be game 1 of the Stanley Cup final. So if Edmonton and the Pacers win tonight, you will not have another playoff game until Wednesday of next week.
6
that would
days.
be game 1. 6 days, game 1 Stanley Cup final, and then Thursday night, game 1 NBA finals going forward. So we could use a little bit more juice. And if the Knicks won tonight, obviously you would get that with a game on Saturday back in Indiana.
What I want to see, no matter what, even if they lose on Saturday, which they will, I want to see it. I want to see them win tonight. In fact, I'm going to go with them tonight. I'm going to go Knicks tonight, and I'm going to hopeful, that we're going to get a Saturday night game 6. And then, you know what would be fantastic? I think the best thing that could ever happen to the NBA, to be honest with you, is if they upset them in game 6 and have a game 7 at the Garden, which I believe the Pacers would win. I do not believe they can win 3 in a row against this team. In fact, they've gotten their ass beat in 3 of the 4 games already. So it's not happening. But I would love to see it come to a 7th-game Monday night, and then we would have a great Monday night show getting ready for that game. And then 2 nights later, you'd have hockey. 3 nights later, you'd have, game 1 of the NBA Finals. It'll probably end the night and butcher the whole plan. But we're hoping for the best. I just want to see more games because, television sucks.
Well, and I would almost say you could get the same thing with the hockey, but If Dallas won tonight and they forced the game 6 on Saturday back in Edmonton, that would trigger the Stanley Cup final not starting until the following Saturday would be game 1.
So they move it from Wednesday to Saturday?
If there's another game in this series and it extends to the weekend, they will not start until Saturday the 7th. That is when they would start the Stanley Cup final.
So you're telling me if they play Game 6 Saturday in Edmonton at the Rogers,
full week.
It's automatically a week from Saturday.
Full week they would go. The only way they start Wednesday is if it ends tonight. That's the only way they start on Wednesday next week for the Stanley Cup final.
Well, I got to be honest with you then. I hope it ends tonight. That's not going to do us any good on SportsGrid on Coast to Coast to be sitting here for a week blowing smoke up people's tuchuses about a game that's going to be 5 or 6 days away. That to me is, that's as bad as All-Star Baseball Week. That's as bad as the week before we go to the Super Bowl. That week before we, go to the media row. The 2 weeks of the Super Bowl is the worst thing that's ever happened to the world.
Mm-hmm. It is tough when you have that extra week. But, yes, hockey would do that if Dallas somehow won tonight and you would get that 6th game on Saturday in Edmonton. All right, as far as tonight goes, a few hours before tip-off, and look, I know they put these injury reports out. You know that Cat and Naismith are playing tonight. Like, I don't care what their dopey injury report says. There's no way that those guys aren't going to play in the Pacer-Knick game this year. It's automatic. Knicks minus 4.5. 222.5. They knocked that total back up a couple points after they smashed through it the other night in game number 4.
All right, so I've seen it at some level today, right now at 4. So I'll lay 4. Why not? I have no other hope in life than to have them show up tonight and show out. Just for once, can you not be a bunch of peas? I mean, they have been playing like a bunch of girls. I mean, honestly, let's just stop with all this other bullshit. Get it done. I mean, get it done. And they have sucked. Honestly, they put on a terrible performance in the Eastern Conference Finals. It's been embarrassing. Can you just for once man the F up and show up and beat them and, give them a taste of their own medicine? In fact, I'm calling for violence in the highest regard and order. They need to start knocking people down and stepping on them and hitting somebody. If you're going to foul them, take their head off. These candy bump fouls and these touch fouls. And my hand was on the ball. It's part of the ball. Can we break someone's wrist? Would that be all right? Can someone play like they are playing for something tonight in New York? And I guarantee you, you know what? New Yorkers are tough. They want this team to play like badasses for once because they played like a bunch of sissies, in my opinion. They have been candy ass, letting them shove them around. They obliterated Shamet. They obliterated Anunoby. They obliterated Robinson. And nobody does anything about it. That's, you know what? In hockey, it never happens. Your teammate gets lit up. I guarantee you within 5 minutes, somebody's losing a tooth. I mean, it's just that simple. Stand up for something tonight and step on someone's face. Smack someone in the head. Break a nose. Do something. Like, play violent for once. They play like candy-ass bees. Honestly, what a bunch of bees they are. They really are. I've never seen a team so soft in my life. Honest to Christ.
The Pacers are 10-4 against the spread in the playoffs this year. They're 6-1 against the spread on the road. They're 2-0 against the spread at MSG. Despite all of that,
take the 4.
I think the Knicks are going to win tonight, and I'm going to lay the 4 with them. I'll give you the player props when we come back.
Yeah. Do or die.
The new face. New face of what? The hell are you talking about? Like seriously. Oh, the new face of the NBA, Anthony. Yeah, okay. You know what I mean? Look, really? Guy's got 2 shots. You're face of the NBA. Slow down. He's a good player. I've always thought the whole face of the NBA thing was comical. You want him to be the face of the NBA because you don't like it that all the other faces of the NBA aren't American.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
And if you go through Cat, that means Cat at 11-1 could be Eastern Conference Finals MVP. The worst team in the WNBA is the Chicago Sky. They have no perimeter play. They're playing Sloot too many minutes. And Angel Reese doesn't have the help she needs.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
I already heard yesterday that he's got no shot to win the Cy Young because it's going to Skubal again. Skubal's winning the Cy Young. No shot for free.
They're both terrific. They both have incredible numbers and credentials and stats and strikeouts and ERA and everything. Like every single category, Fried is right there with him.
Ferrall, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
All right, so what are the best prop bets going for this game tonight?
Well, these are, of course, the most bet ones. These are the ones that everyone's going to the window for. Brunson under 30.5 points. Siakam under 21.5 points. Hasn't he had like 40 and 30 the last 2 games?
He's going over that number automatic.
Deuce McBride under 1.5 threes. Obi Toppin over 6.5 points. And Mikal Bridges under 25.5 PRA. Under 25.5 for McBride.
I definitely like Siakam and McBride overs. I think that Bridges is a good bet under. He's kind of evaporated in some capacity, right? And you know what? I got to be honest with you. Everyone's betting Brunson under 30.5. I mean, he needs to have 40 points tonight if they're going to win because they obviously can't beat the Pacers unless he has a huge night. He's got to have 40, and I think Towns has to have at least 25, 27 points if they're going to win. And I think Anunoby has to have a double-double, and I think Josh Hart has to have at least 12 rebounds and, frankly, 10 assists. That's what they need to do to beat this team because this team's so much better than them. It's not even funny.
Josh Hart double-double plus 250 tonight. For the
I like
Josh
that,
Hart
man.
double-double.
Right there is the best thing I've heard all day. I've heard a lot of bad things today out of people's mouths. That was the smartest thing I've heard all day right there. After
Yeah, I
that,
think that one might
way you
be.
want. I'm betting that right now. In fact, in the break, I'm going to bet it.
I think that's where I'm going to be. There's
He
only
might have
3
a
teams
triple-double.
left.
This guy's a dog.
Well, yeah, he absolutely might have do that. And I think if you got the triple-double for him, you can go even bigger. But they actually don't have a number on him. I'll check another book because some books put numbers up for him and some do not. There's only 3 teams left now as we have left standing. And the Thunder are minus 750 to win the whole thing. Pacers plus 650, Knicks 24-1.
That's a done
minus
deal.
750.
That's a done deal. Here's another one. McConnell over 7.5 points is minus 115. That's pretty easy money too. You know why? because this guy, he hits at least 4 layups a game and 3 bunnies from 8 feet out a game because the Knicks don't guard T.J. McConnell at all. They don't worry about T.J. McConnell. And that's another reason that Tom Thibodeau has been done right in the tuchus by Carlisle. Carlisle puts this guy in. He scores 10, 12 points every time he goes out there because he shoots layups and 5-foot bunnies. I mean, when is the last time you saw a guy that little just do whatever he wants and nobody does anything about it? Like, this is another example of where I come from of like, all right, we're in the timeout, I'm in the huddle, and I'm Joker who talks in huddles, right? And I'd be like this. All right, so we need someone to take him out right now. Who's doing it? Me, I'll do it. I'll take him out. They don't touch that guy, and he does whatever the F he wants in every game. T.J. McConnell is the mosquito that flies around your head at the campsite all night long and just keeps biting you, and you're sleeping and snoring, and you keep waving your hand over your face. You wake up in the morning with, spots all over your face. T.J. McConnell, 7.5 points. He'll have that in the first 3 minutes of the game, for Christ's sakes. Every time the guy comes in, he shoots layups. When is the last time you saw a guy that small having that many layups uncontested? Absolutely uncontested. Drives me nuts.
It should. It should drive you nuts that he does that. There you go. The basketball for this evening as the Knicks and the Pacers will play Game 5. Could be our last game for a week. We shall see. Hopefully it's not. I'm with you. I want to see another game on Saturday night between the Knicks and the Pacers. All right, we will come back and we'll start the hockey.
Everybody loves hockey.
Because everybody does love hockey, and just like the NBA, we're down to 3 teams with the hockey. So we will have to start discussing as Florida is going to go for the 3rd straight year to the Stanley Cup final. So we will do that when we get back. I will tell you, I have a final from the first game of that doubleheader. The Phillies did beat the Braves 5-4.
5-4, yeah.
5-4 win for the Phillies. They will now, of course, play another game, which we'll talk about at 6:45.
That's a good one,
the
that
second
game.
leg.
The pitching matchup in that game is fantastic. It's Sale and Wheeler.
Sale and Wheeler tonight. Meanwhile, at Muirfield, still Bermuda Ben Griffin, and no one's going to catch him today for first-round leader. He's 7 under, and there ain't anybody out there with him. Wheeler's.
The new face. New face of what? The hell are you talking about? Like seriously. Oh, the new face of the NBA, Anthony. Yeah, okay. You know what I mean? Look, really? Guy's got 2 shots. The face of the NBA. Slow down. He's a good player. I've always thought the whole face of the NBA thing was comical. You want him to be the face of the NBA because you don't like it that all the other faces in the NBA aren't American.
Sports Rage tonight. Only on SportsGrid.
And if you go through Cat, that means Cat at 11-1 could be Eastern Conference Finals MVP. The worst team in the WNBA is the Chicago Sky. They have no perimeter play. They're playing too many minutes. And Angel Reese doesn't have the help she needs.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
I already heard yesterday that he's got no shot to win the Cy Young because it's going to Skubal again. Skubal's winning the Cy Young. No shot for free.
They're both terrific. They both have incredible numbers and credentials and stats and strikeouts and ERA and everything. Like every single category, Freed is right there with him.
Ferrall, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
All right, I think he's going to actually talk pucks right now, your boy Carver High, because everybody loves hockey.
Everybody does love hockey, and as we were saying before the break, just like the NBA, we're down to 3 teams. That's because last night, Florida, look at that. There it is, the big board. Florida now at the end of the line in the Eastern Conference. The Big Cat gets themselves there. And, last night you thought, wow, Carolina finally gets what they need, right? They come out, they score the first 2 goals in a game. They've got a 2-0 lead at home. They can play their style of game. Yeah, things got real bad for them real quick in the second period. As Florida scored 3 times, they would obviously score 5 of the next 6 goals. It was tied at 3 just halfway through the third period, and it's usually a little bit of everybody for Florida. This time, it was Carter Verhaeghe on Panthers radio.
Barkov along the right boards, down to the corner, then back behind the net with Orlov all over, and Barkov breaks free to the front of the net, backhand feed. Verhaeghe, and he scores! And the Panthers take a 4-3 lead with 7:39 to go in the third. The Panthers are back in front. Carter Verhaeghe upstairs. What a pass from Barkov! And the Panthers once again in front here in Raleigh.
Yeah, I thought that guy did a great job. Goldie on ice would have been better. Huge play by Barkov against Orlov. And I thought, just manhandling him and then, getting free and then finding Verhaeghe. And Verhaeghe's always having these big goals. And that was it, the backbreaker.
That was the backbreaker, and that was Doug Plagans, who I guess they are on QAM, right? The Panthers, I believe.
That's
they
the radio call right there. That's good. The guy was great. I thought he was
Dougie.
great, and
nice job.
I know my guy Goldie on ice and Randy Miller going to get another ring. Wrong. Your boy Connor McDavid going to get a ring finally.
Right, and Goldie understands how it goes. There are some people in the business who, they do the TV call all year and they get pushed aside in the playoffs because it becomes national TV, and then they are such pigs that they go and kind of wedge time away from the radio guy who's been doing it all year. Goldie knows not to do that. He understands that this guy Doug does the games all year. He's got the call, and nice job by Doug there doing all of that. Sam Rosen. Panthers reached the Stanley Cup final for the 3rd straight season. This is the 6th straight year that a Florida team is in the Cup final.
Who wrote you that Sam Rosen does it, Luke?
Luke said Sam Rosen. I guess he's accusing Sam of doing that on the Ranger playoff broadcast, which is probably true.
Great. He's right.
I'm sure Sam does slide over when you get into playoff time for the Blue Shirts, but now Sam's done. So that's Kenny will do the same exact thing. Here's Matthew Tkachuk, obviously going for back-to-back cups. A lot of motivation, but they also had a lot of new guys in the room this year that really helped move them.
Yeah, it's hard to do. You very rarely see it. Very proud of the group. I think I gotta give a lot of credit to the new guys, whether they've been here for the whole year or a bit of the year. I don't. This is nothing against the guys that aren't here, but we needed that fresh blood and that fresh energy, and the guys that are fresh and hungry. We're hungry coming back, obviously, but you get those new guys that help put you over the edge to get to this point right now. So got to give them a lot of credit. We wouldn't be here without them. And we got one more job to do.
I think it's a very point well taken, is that, you go out with the same team, the Penguins won back-to-back, and then they gave all these guys new deals, and then they sucked. And then this team did it differently. What they did was They went back to back. They lost, then they won, and then they got rid of guys and got new guys that could play, that could really play hockey. And they put them into that lineup, and they got 4 lines deep of really kind of the guys that really matter, Barkov or Hagee and himself, I think Kachuk. And then your goalie's the same. And then you get all these new guys that make a difference. And like Seth Jones, right? Like they mean business, dude. They just have a whole new team that went out, and he said it. They were hungry. Because when you go back to back, don't tell me you're still hungry. But when you have a third trip to the Stanley Cup Finals, somebody had to be starving because they were hungry enough to get it done. I think he's right. The new blood was the difference.
Yeah, that helps a lot of teams to be able to do that. That's for sure. Did you see the little exchange after the game with Maurice and Brind'Amour? So that basically had to do with Maurice doesn't like going in the player's handshake line after the game. And here he is. Whatever is right. Here he is explaining that whole mess.
I don't believe that the coaches should shake players' hands at the end. There's this long list of people in suits and tracksuits. I mean, we had like 400 people on the ice. They're all really important to our group, but not one of them was in the game. There's something for me visually with the camera on of just the men who played, who blocked shots, who fought for each other. It's the end of one season. It's excitement for the other. The last thing that a player on the Carolina Hurricanes deserves is 50 more guys in suits they have. They have no idea who they are, and that's not a negative. There should be something really kind of beautiful about just the camera on those men who played shaking hands, and we should respect that.
I think it's fair, but I also think it's a little ridiculous. Like, dude, like, honestly, just stop trying to save the world and change the way things are. This has been going on forever. Can we just leave it good enough alone? Thanks so much. I think Paul's a great coach, but now, what is he bringing new philosophies to the way that people should celebrate? Like, what's happening here?
Right. It's a little too much for me. Like, and first of all, it's like him and like 3 other coaches. The whole entire training staff doesn't get on the ice and go shake the players' hands. Like, let's calm down a bit. And I listen, Paul is a good quote. He says a lot of quirky things, and he's really come to light the last 3 years with all these runs to the Stanley Cup Final. The guys want to go shake the players' hands. Let them go shake the players' hands. All right, relax, Paul.
Paul has gotten famous by making the Stanley Cup Final 3 years in a row.
Sure.
Everyone knows who he is now. Same as John Cooper. Because let me tell you something. No one cares about, let's be clear, hockey coaches in the NHL.
No,
People barely care about hockey.
And look, Maurice has always been this way. He's always been a guy who gives you a cool, quirky quote and all that.
Right.
The problem was nobody heard them because he never was in the Stanley Cup Final before 2 years ago. So nobody heard any of it when he was in Carolina and Toronto and Winnipeg and all those other stops along the map. But when you win, it gets brought up a little bit more. So nice job there. Carolina, on the other hand, they lose again. They're 1-16 in their last 17 conference final games. And I got to wait. I'll play Rod Brind'Amour after because I'm not going to have enough time to get him in here. But I'll just ask you this about him before I play his clip after the break. You said that you wanted to chop Chris Finch in Minnesota for losing in the West Finals the last 2 years with the Timberwolves. This is 3, I guess, for Rod. That he has lost personally since he's been the head coach. He gets, I think the thing with him is he gets a lot out of a little, that's the thing. He brings these teams that don't have any star players and things like that to the final every year, but he never gets it done at the end.
Yeah, I don't think they'll change the coach there because, first of all, it's, the only reason they matter at all is because of him. He's a really good coach, and he gets guys to win and play well in Raleigh, North Carolina, which nobody gives a rat's ass about anywhere, any day, anyhow, any which way but loose. So the guy wins and gets them to this point. They're not firing him because I don't think they have the stones to fire him.
face. He's the new face. New face of what? The hell are you talking about? Like seriously. Oh, the new face of the NBA, Anthony. Yeah, okay. You know what I mean? Look, really? Guy's got 2 shots. You're the face of the NBA. Slow down. He's a good player. I've always thought the whole face of the NBA thing was comical. You want him to be the face of the NBA because you don't like it that all the other faces in the NBA aren't American.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
And if you go through Cat, that means Cat at 11-1 could be Eastern Conference Finals MVP. The worst team in the WNBA is the Chicago Sky. They have no perimeter play. They're playing Sloot too many minutes. And Angel Reese doesn't have the help she needs.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
I already heard yesterday that he's got no shot to win the Cy Young because it's going to Skubal again. Skubal's winning the Cy Young. No shot for free.
They're both terrific. They both have incredible numbers and credentials and stats and strikeouts and ERA and everything. Like every single category, Fried is right there with him.
Ferrall, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
All right, let's listen to Brenda Moore and what he had to say about it. It's the same old story with this team.
It really is the same old story for Carolina, out again in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Do you think at all it requires some level of change in terms of the way you guys play throughout an entire season and into the playoffs?
Like what? What do you recommend?
I just mean style of play. I'm not making recommendations.
That's how do you think they play? They're the standard now. And I see out, in, forecheck, hard, wait for your chance, try to capitalize. I mean, it's hard hockey. If anything, we got to figure out how to get that much to our game. But that's the standard right there. And I mean, I feel like that's been our game for a long time. They've kind of picked it up the last couple of years and made it that much better. So that's what we got to get.
Oh, so he's suggesting that the Panthers stole their plans from him. Hey, here's the difference.
He is suggesting that.
Yeah, well, here's the difference. I'll give him this much. When he played, he got it done. When he coaches, he can't get it done because the players aren't as good as him. When he played, he was a man's man on the ice, and he got it done. And the bottom line is, his guys don't play as well as he did. They're just not as good as he was. He won the Stanley Cup because he was a badass. And his players they're really good, but they're not badasses. You know what the Panthers are? They didn't steal anything from Carolina. They're just badasses. When you go to 3 straight Cup finals, you're a badass. When you lose every year in the Eastern Conference Finals, you're just not as good as Rod was when he played. When Rod played, he hoisted. When they play, they fondle themselves because they have nothing else to do when the series is over than to touch themselves. The bottom line is they can't do anything because they're getting beat by a better team. And if they had a guy like Rod Brindamore playing for them, maybe they'd win. What they need is a guy that's a badass that can get it done. You know, like Verhaeghe does, like Kachuk does, like Barkov does, like Bennett does. They don't have that guy. Aho is a great player in the first period.
It's true. Look, it's very true. They do not have that guy who just can take over a game. And Aho is a great player, but he isn't that guy that can finish for you and that can take it from the other team and put the dagger through their heart and do
That's
all
right.
that. And I said this to you a few weeks ago, and I'll say it again. They did try. They tried. They traded for Rantanen. They thought they were getting him,
Right.
and the guy wanted nothing to do with them, and they probably should have figured that out before they made the deal.
Let's calm down on Rantanen a little. He's gone from being the Conn Smythe Trophy winner to not having a chance at that because he hasn't done anything for about 8 days. He's done absolutely nothing against Edmonton. They've shut his water right off.
He's done nothing, but he did get them here. He was great in those first 2 rounds.
Well, he's
the kind of player that can do that.
Lose.
I think, and look, the same thing. I think the problem here with them is Edmonton is just better. Edmonton is just better.
That's right.
All the way around. And we will see.
And how about Jarvis? He's a really good player that had a bunch of points, but he took about 10 days off until he finally scored last night. That's the first time he scored in like 10 days. So I get how it works. I've been around it for 50 years, the league. So have you. So you're right. I'm right. It's real simple. They don't have that guy.
They don't. And Jarvis is another guy. Like, I think he's a guy you want a player like Seth Jarvis on your team.
He's good
when you're trying to win a cup.
Guy.
The problem is you can't ask Jarvis to be Mario Lemieux or Sidney Crosby or any. That's not him. He needs to be your secondary guy. Your second line. You can't ask him to be the hero. Like, that's not his role. He's not that type of player. And Carolina asks a lot of guys to do that this time of year. And that's part of the reason why they are, unfortunately for them, where they are every time this year. All right, Oilers and the Stars.
Bridesmaid.
Yeah, bridesmaids every year. Oilers and the Stars. Oilers 1 win away from getting us the rematch from last year in the Stanley Cup Final. We'll start with Chris Knobloch, the head coach. Oilers are not looking ahead. We just need one more.
I don't even know what's going on in the East. I know we've got a heck of a series here against Dallas, and we have one more win to get to. If we're fortunate to get that last win, then we'll be preparing for that next team. But right now, all our attention is on the Dallas Stars.
This guy, he's like, is he like one of these voodoo guys that won't touch the trophy? The next team we play, I don't even know what's going on in the East. You're full of shack, bro. Stop with that candy. Honestly, that is so sugary, that comment. Believe me, everyone in the world knows, literally everyone knows, that the Florida Panthers are going back to the Stanley Cup Final today. This guy acts like he has no clue. That's pathetic. Here's the reality, just so we can cut through this cheese. Edmonton's won 8 of their last 9 closeout games. They're going to win tonight.
Yeah, I'm not chasing it anymore. I'm just not. Edmonton's gonna win tonight. Dallas is minus 130. Edmonton's, I got him at plus $110 now. 5.5 is the total. But yeah, I don't see it. I think it ends. And honestly, like you said earlier, I think it's better for us if now knowing the schedule implications.
Yeah.
It's probably better because we know it's going to be Edmonton and Florida. So they might as well just win tonight. So that way we know it's Wednesday. We'll have that ready, set in stone for next week. So
like Wednesday, Thursday.
It off tonight.
Can we just get
Wednesday,
it?
Thursday?
Because we need to know what we're doing here on the show. Because, later in the summer when they do the All-Star week, it's just the worst week in sports.
Yeah.
It's just awful. And then if we don't have next week like a decent week planned out where we have something to get excited about, it can be aggravating.
It can
be. I don't care about tennis.
Very aggravating.
I really don't. I love tennis. I played tennis. I think tennis is great. I think it's cool. I don't give a rat's ass about tennis. Ever.
face. He's the new face. New face of what? The hell are you talking about? Like seriously. Oh, the new face of the NBA, Anthony. Yeah, okay. You know what I mean? Like, really? Guy's got 2 shots. You're face of the NBA. Slow down. He's a good player. I've always thought the whole face of the NBA thing was comical. You want him to be the face of the NBA because you don't like it that all the other faces of the NBA aren't American.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
And if you go through Cat, that means Cat at 11-1 could be Eastern Conference Finals MVP. The worst team in the WNBA is the Chicago Sky. They have no perimeter play. They're playing Sloot too many minutes. And Angel Reese doesn't have the help she needs.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
I already heard yesterday that he's got no shot to win the Cy Young because it's going to Scooble again. Scooble's winning the Cy Young. No shot for free.
They're both terrific. They both have incredible numbers and credentials and stats and strikeouts and ERA and everything. Like every single category, Freed is right there with him.
Ferrall, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
All right, so the odds to win the cup.
Right. Only 3 teams left, just like we gave you with the NBA earlier. So this is where it is. Florida's the favorite, obviously, because they're already there.
Plus money.
Minus 120. Plus 115 for Edmonton and 14-1 for Dallas. Dallas has a very long way to go.
You know, we already got the Oilers at 5-1 when it when it was available.
Yeah, you've got a bunch of Oilers. You've got a bunch of Oilers stuff.
I've been on the Oilers for months, for the whole season. Literally the entire year I said the Oilers. So I'm not getting off of that. And you can still get plus money on the Edmonton Oilers. I think I think Florida's a great team. I really do. I can live with that. They're the standard. The problem is that there's always a standard bearer. And I think that's Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid, I think, will not be denied. Not only is he the best player in the world, he's better than every guy that I just mentioned on the Panthers. Every one of them. He's better than, he's so much better than Matt Tkachuk. It's not even funny. I think Matt Tkachuk's a really good physical player. There's no denying he's super talented, right? He's nowhere near in the realm of this guy. This guy's speed and hands and stick and shot and ability to pass and score is literally Wayne Gretzky. And he's a lot bigger than Wayne Gretzky. And he's a lot more physical than Wayne Gretzky. This guy is an absolute stud. And he's better than Barkov. He's better than Verhaeghe. He's better than Bennett. He's better than all of them. And you're going to give me plus money on that guy? He's winning the Stanley Cup. It has to be now. There's not going to be any of this, keep this guy from winning the cup. Every great player that ever played in the NHL won the Stanley Cup. The greatest of the great. I think he's better than everybody in the league. And I hate to say it because I'm not an Edmonton Oiler fan, but I'm an Edmonton Oiler better, and I'm an Edmonton Oiler believer, and I'm convinced he's just superior to everyone. He's the best player on his team. If he were drunk and passed out, he's still better than everybody. Literally, if he was sleeping, he's better than the whole team. Honestly, if he had the flu, he'd be better than the whole team. If he was missing a foot, he'd be the best player on the team. I'm not kidding.
And let's just also remember this too. They have not just the best player, they have the second best player too.
Draisaitl.
Also by a mile. So look, it is what it is. Like Draisaitl, and that, like you said, nothing against Kachuk, nothing against Ranton. Draisaitl is he's right below McDavid, and then there's a gap, and then there's everybody else. That's how good Draisaitl is.
I think Skinner's playing as well as Bobrovsky right now. So let's go. Let's get it on.
Let's go. And we are almost there. Last hockey note for you. The Islanders introduced their new general manager, Matthew Darche, today. Big press conference. They had the carving board out at UBS, the whole deal. And, of course, the first question was, will Patrick Waugh be back as the head coach? And that will be a yes, an absolute yes for him. And the good thing for Waugh is, Scotty, you see, Waugh got saddled with all of, like, Lamarillo's assistant coaches, like his guys, the John McClains and all these.
Yeah.
Darche is obviously going to let Waugh get his own staff for once. Get the guys that you want behind the bench. And I think he's going to let Waugh also be a little bit more of himself. I think that obviously under Lou, Waugh was a little buttoned up the last year and a half. And I think you'll see a little bit more of speaking his mind. Patrick Waugh.
Listen, I hate the Islanders, but I like Patrick Waugh as a coach a lot, and I think their problem is this, and you could either agree or disagree. Obviously, they have the number 1 draft pick, but I think that's a futuristic thing. I think they're going to draft someone that's going to be. I don't think he's going to be in this class ready to go right away and make some huge impact. I mean, that Celebrini, I think, has been. I thought he was better than Bedard in his first crack, right? But I think that the difference for me is that Patrick just doesn't have the goods. They don't have the talent to blame him for their, inadequacies. They're just not that good of a team. They're not a playoff team. They're not a winner because they don't have any talent. They need to start bringing in star players again to Long Island in that great building with a great coach and a great young GM now. They have to get talented because they're not talented. They just don't have good players.
Playing online blackjack and want to try upping your odds? Well, here's a tip. Cheat cards tell you statistics for whether you hit or stand on every move. If you're into stats, this could be your ticket to winning. And it is totally legal. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
If you believe he should be in the Hall of Fame, there's, let's let him wait another 2 years. Wait, he's already dead at this point. Like, what are you waiting for? Another 2 to 3 years. He's either in or he's out. And sometimes you look at that too, Tom, it's like you can't tell, the history of Major League Baseball without Pete Rose.
Frankly, the writers have some standard that they want to hold players to, which seems to fluctuate on a player-to-player basis. So he should be in the Hall of Fame, but I'm not sure how quickly he'll get there.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
I'm not saying this thing is scripted, but damn it, they put those 2 teams on the first weekend of the basketball season for a reason, because they were expecting some kind of fireworks. They got it. Did Angel Reese overreact? Probably. Did Caitlin Clark have to stare it down? Probably not. There's enough blame to go both sides. But guess who doesn't care? That's the WNBA.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.